Have you ever seen the movie Love and Basketball? Well, in this video, we're going to be sharing with you our real life Love and Basketball story.
So get your popcorn, relax, and we want to welcome you to It's Marshall Time. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Amber.
So stay tuned.
Okay, very good. Clap it up. So we are going to start with number 1. How we met.
It was the summer of 2004. I'm playing basketball at Texas Tech. It's just I think it was a Friday or Saturday night. Went out to the club. Ordinary night, wasn't anything special, nothing going on. And so for me, I wasn't the dancing type. You know, I go to the club to just be able to chill, relax. And, you know, to be honest, the thing that happened in this time in the club was kind of almost like a fairy tale. But in that time, kind of my mindset, I was skeptical about like really love at first sight, but that's kind of really what happened. You know, have you ever had that feeling when you see somebody, you just know that that person is the one? And that is really what happened to me. And I'm not just saying, you know, oh yeah, she's the one just because I like her. Like, it was deeper than just words. It was just, it hit me almost to the core of who I was, just really saying like who she was and just knowing that she was one, because it really changed who I was. And so how it happened was, I just remember we were at Static nightclub. And so that was my spot back in the day.
That was some good times.
And you know, I'm standing. I think I was standing against a wall and just, you know, looking around, seeing what everybody's doing. And I'm just kind of sneering around the room, just looking. And then all of a sudden, it's like, boom. We hit each other's eyes, and it's like got caught in the moment. And there's a movie called Two Can Play at That Game. And so I've seen this movie a lot of times, but never did I think that what happened in that movie would literally happen to me. And that's exactly what happened. Is that in this movie, you know, the man, he was in a club, and when he seen the woman he was supposed to be with, it's like everything around him, everybody that was dancing in the club, everybody that was there just disappeared. The only thing that you could see was him and the woman that he was looking at, and nothing else mattered. And so the moment that we locked eyes, like, that's exactly what happened. It was like, boom, everybody else that was in the club that night, like, just disappeared. Anything that I was thinking about was gone. It was almost just like we were in the zone. I was in the zone, like I'm locked into her eyes, and it's like I'm stuck, like, man, like I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to do, but all I know is I can't see nothing else. I don't know what else. Like, to this day, I could not tell you anything else that happened that night except for us locking eyes and, you know, meeting. And so, like, it was crazy.
You don't remember our talks?
Man.
We did talk.
We did. I remember us talking because we sat down at a table that night. And I know that I was not the most talkative person back then. Yeah. If you can tell right now, probably not. But, you know, I was kind of laid back. You know, I'm not the one to kind of go over the top. I'm not going to push up on women. You know, I just kind of sit back and then, you know, kind of let them come to me. And so she ended up calling me over, and so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to her. Yes. And so
must have been the Lord.
Yeah. And so we eventually sat down, and, you know, we were talking. I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I know that, you know, just the things that I said that night just let me know that she was the one, because everything that I said was something that a typical man would not say the first time that he met a woman. And so what happened was, during this time, I was actually living with another girl. And so I'm out at the club, you know, we meet, we're sitting down and talking and everything. And so I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying, let me get your number, and then, you know, I'm going to call you. I was like, listen, I'm going to call you. I'm going to go home, you know, back to St. Louis in a few weeks, and then I'll be back, and I'm going to call you. And I was like, you know, because right now I'm living with a girl, but when I come back, it's not going to be that situation. And so really, who does that? Right. You know? And so it's like the things that I'm doing, like, it's something that I never would have done. But like I said, in that moment, it's like, this is what is to be. Yeah. And so, like I said, I'm just locked in just to really just this beauty over here. And, you know, she kind of hooked me
Hooked
in.
me in, even though, guys, it would be some years before we would reconnect because we dated
Yeah.
and then we broke up. Okay, so for me, like, I'm wondering, he's like, I knew she was the one. So what does that look like? Because, you know, obviously there was some time where we weren't together. So if you knew I was the one, like, what made you, like, not, like, act on that for so long?
And I feel like just the immaturity, the inexperience, just of where I was in my life at the time. Even though I knew that you were the one, just wasn't ready and wasn't in that position to fulfill just what I wanted. And so I believe that kind of God shifted us apart in order for both of us to grow, just for me to develop and to get to a place to where we can come back together. Because I feel that once we did come back together, you know, mindsets were different. We've experienced lives. We've grown up. We're not in school anymore. And so, you know, for me, that was just, you know, I knew in my heart, like, yes, she's the one, but yet I wasn't ready. Almost like I wasn't prepared to step into what being that one was, or having that relationship. You know, yes, it's easy to say, yes, you're the one, and yes, I want to be with you, but are you willing to dig through it? And I feel like in college, just where my mind was, everything that I was doing just was not ready.
Right. That's so good. Yeah. Guys, I think that was really, really good because we did meet at the club. This is BC, well, BS, before we were saved, okay, and living for the Lord. So, of course, we were at the club and, you know, having fun. And for me, I was just like, okay, he played basketball for Tech, and I was like, oh man, like, this is really cool. And I had already written my vision board like years before that I would marry a basketball player, a professional basketball player, and then he would be like 6'3" or taller. I know those are my goals, you know. I don't care if you judge me or not, but that's really what I thought, because I've always had a love for basketball. I did play for a little bit in college, and so for me, I wanted someone that had the same love for basketball that I did, because I knew that this is something I would want to pass down to children and generations to come. And our children love basketball, not because we push them, but because they just genuinely love it. But anyways, back to the story. So we're at the club, and then of course, you know, I'm looking at him and I'm like, oh, okay. The way he just looked at me in my eyes was like so different.
Sexy and beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It's hard, you know.
His eyes were so piercing. And so I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I was like really feeling him until he said, I live with another girl. And that was very hard, ladies. Like, I immediately shut down. I was like, okay. I gave him like my mom's number. He didn't even have my cell phone number, because I'm like, he's not really gonna call. I didn't think that he would. He was like, you know, whenever I get back, you know, I'm gonna reach out to you. I was like, whatever. This is July, right? He's not coming back till August. But when he got back, he really did reach out to me. And so then we began to talk and develop a relationship. The first time, you know, we talked on the phone for 30 minutes and it was silence. Because he, like he said, he was not a talker, but he's so much better now. We're still working on it. We're always working, because we're a work in progress. And so again, guys, at this time, we're still not living, you know, a saved life. We're still trying to figure out who we are. So I was finishing up my last semester in nursing school, and he was about to finish his last semester of college. Well, my dad dies like during that last semester, like a few months after we officially start dating. And I think that it was just a lot, I would think, for a college kid to try to help someone cope with the loss of a father when we had just started dating. So that was hard on us. So we broke up, and for years, and then Curtis goes off and lives his dream while I'm finishing nursing school, and he plays professional basketball overseas. And where does that take us?
Right, and so I'm playing overseas. I think at the time, this was back in the time when we had MySpace. Ooh, and so everybody's like, you know, check my profile, check out my MySpace. And so I think I was just finished a road game. I think I was in Lithuania at the time, going back to Latvia. And so I think she had commented or something on a picture, or I commented on her picture. And that just kind of, and that's kind of what got us started. And so then it's kind of like, hey, how you doing? How you been? And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call you. And so on my way back, I called her. And so we talked for a little bit, and that was just the beginning of us kind of moving back to getting back together. And I feel like that was just the right time. And I think like it was a God ordained moment because, you know, normally I don't really see those type of things when I'm on road trips, you know, with the basketball team. And so we reached out, and that was just the beginning of our journey, you know, once we were grown.
And I think it's interesting too, because like, for me, like I was going through a part, I was really still struggling with the death of my father, and I was still trying to figure out like who I am. I loved God, but I wasn't like following him. I think it's a difference. And I just remember saying, God, like, you know, I want to find like the right person, like I'm ready to get married. And I remember just being celibate for an amount of time. And then this is when he's talking about that he messages me. I believe that, you know, that celibacy before that had something to do with everything, God moving things to where he could, you know, reach out to me to where I would be ready and to where we'd be ready to just go forth and whatever that looked like. But whenever he messaged me, I didn't think that we would be like get married or anything like that. Like I didn't know that. Like I was just like, okay, you know, we'll just see what happens, you know. And of course God has his own plans, but it was just a really interesting ride in our journey of, you know, like what that looked like.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, what's going on? How you been for the last 3 years? Want to get married? But yeah, I mean, my journey was different. I definitely was not celibate, but there was just an emptiness just inside of me. Even though, like, yes, I'm having relationships and relations, like, there just was something missing, and what I was getting just was not fulfilling me. And it even got to a point where I'm like, you know what, this is just like, I'm tired of this. Like, I want somebody, you know, in my life. Like, I want somebody to be able to come home to, you know, to be able to spend my life, to share just the experiences that I'm experiencing. And that was just really big for me, you know, just having that turning point in my life. Like, you know what, I can't keep doing this. Like, I don't want to live a life of just sleeping around all the time, or just having just relationships knowing it's not going to go nowhere in the back of my mind. And so that's really just was that shift for me moving forward, because you know, when you're playing professional basketball, there's girls. I mean, it's everywhere. They're going to be there whether or not. And then where I was at, it wasn't necessarily even, you know, I like you because you play basketball. It was just like, I like you because you're black. And so it was a little crazy out there. And so yeah, that's just where my journey personally, you know, things that I was dealing with and things that I had to correct and work on, you know, just moving towards our relationship once we started talking more.
Right. So it was very interesting, guys, because I don't think we even shared this part, but there was a time in our relationship in college where like I did like steal your keys and climb out of your window, and then you had to, like, I wouldn't give them back to you, and then you like drove to my mom's house to tell her. You told on me, guys. Can you believe that?
You call patience, because in my mind I'm thinking like, okay, you don't want to give my keys. I'm about to kick in this door and I'm about to get my stuff. But
yeah,
so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do this. Let me just go. Hey, I told my teammate, like, hey, let me borrow your car real quick.
Yeah.
Went down. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna try to keep my calm. And so yeah, she was up there stealing people keys.
Yes, but yeah, we're not gonna go into why though.
Yeah.
Anyways, because I'm healed, set free. So, what's our next stop?
We're married. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still playing professional basketball.
Yeah.
We are together,
Yeah.
but we are constantly bumping heads. Like, it's
Yeah.
constantly this grind going on between of us. Like, we're not communicating that well. Even when we're together, you know, we're constantly fighting, let alone we're separated for long periods of time because I'm playing overseas. And so Amber never came with me, you know, whenever I first went overseas, because I want to get there and make sure everything is what it needs to be before I fly Amber over. And so it just got to a point where we were like, you know what? We've came together many times like this. Yeah, we need to do this. We need to sit together. But then it got to the point like, you know what? We have to change what we're doing, change our outlook, because if we don't, we are not going to be together. And that's really just that moment that we sat down. It's like, okay, it can't just be words. Like, we really have to back up the words that we're saying to be able to make this relationship, this marriage work. Because a lot of people think once you say I do, like everything is great, but it takes work. Like keeping the marriage strong, keeping the communication and everything running smoothly and flowing the way God designed it. You know, you just can't say I do and think that everything's going to be okay. You know, there is a give and take, but we came together and mutually decided, okay, we can't do this on our own. Like God has to step into our lives because we grew up in the church, you know, and so we knew that God was the only one that could do that. So we just made the decision of, you know what, we have to start putting God first in our marriage, but also like our decisions, because, you know, at first we kind of had this mindset, okay, you got your stuff, I got my stuff. And, you know, when you're in a marriage and you have that mindset of separate, you know, it's going to cause division, because when you're married, you become one. So it's not, it's my money, it's your money, it's my bank account, your bank account. Really, it's ours. So when I'm making money, we are making money. When she's making money, we are making money. We are successful through whether who does it, doesn't really matter. And that's where it got to. We're like, okay, God, we need to do more, and we have to put God in our lives. And I remember the first thing that we started doing was like, you know what, we're just going to sit down, we're going to read a chapter together and just talk about, okay, what is a chapter in the Bible talking about? And
we had no clue.
Yeah, we didn't really know how to study the Bible at that time, but we knew that we needed the word. And so we were just like, okay, we're going to open up this Bible, we're going to find a chapter and we're going to read it, and then we're going to talk about like what did we read. And that was just really just our journey, our reborn again life of, okay, really getting back into God and just listening, okay, God, what do you want for us?
I think that's powerful. And also, like, we got our hearts clean because we had went through different stages of like unfaithfulness, like him playing basketball. There's obviously lots of untrust there. Things that we walked through, and just things with, you know, oh, this person's around, just from past hurts. And so I had to get healed from not trusting Curtis, and Curtis had to get healed from whatever he had to get healed from. But we both went on this journey to get healed in our hearts and be set free from whether it's, you know, people, our family, our friends. Like, we went through a journey, or experiences that we had. We went through a journey just to get free in all of that, so that we could be the best spouse that God had called us to be. Because like we were saying, we don't know. And like, we just started reading, and sometimes, you know, people message us and they're like, how do I get started? What should, you know, I read first? And sometimes don't let that paralyze you, like the fear of messing up. Like, God just wants you to start. Like, we have 4 kids, and each time every kid walked, like, we were like clapping, cheering them on, so excited because they took their first step. And sometimes God just wants you to take that first step, even if it's ugly, no matter what it looks like.
Right. And that's really what it is just really just moving. That's what God wants you to do. He wants you to move. A lot of times we're saying, okay, I'm waiting on God to move, I'm waiting on God to do this, but God is just sitting back like, I'm just waiting on you just to take that first step. Like, you take the first step, I'll do the rest. Like, if you open the door, I'm going to come in. But again, it takes action. You have to open that door to allow God to move in your life. And so that's just one thing that we really was intentional about. Now, was things in our marriage great? No. It still took work. Our communication still was not where it needed to be. But we knew that we had to continually fight. Where we even got to a point where we were about to get a divorce, but still, we still pushed through. We still prayed, and everything that we did, we put God first in our decisions. And so we still fought for our marriage, and we still to this day continue to, you know, work on it, because again, our marriage is still not perfect. But again, we're still learning each other. We're still learning how to be a better communicator, a better husband, a better wife, you know, a better mother, better father. Everything that we do, we're always striving to be better, you know, each day, because there's always going to be a learning moment in every situation in our lives, but not only our lives, but your lives as well.
And I think that's powerful, because we marry one person, but we're always becoming whoever God wants us to be. Like, for every season, there's an assignment. We become different people. And I feel like we are definitely different people than who we were when we got married. We're so different. The things we like, the music we listen to, everything is so dramatically different. And we had to walk through those seasons and give each other grace to evolve through those seasons. Like, when we got married, like, I ate meat. Like, now I'm on this vegan-ish journey where I want to be vegan. I'm vegan-ish. So but I'm trying to get to vegan, but there's a process and I'm giving myself journey. But I'm sure Curtis never thought that one day Amber's gonna tell me she wants to be vegan. Like, he never thought that. But he's giving me grace and he's letting me experiment. He's letting me be the manager of the home and just, you know, manage our children, like knowing that I want to switch our children over to a vegan lifestyle and letting me cook meals and experiment. That last one last week was rough, okay? So you got some vegan recipes, leave them down. We trying different recipes, but we're only going to share the ones with you guys that we really love and that our kids like. If our kids like it, we know y'all will like it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, no. I mean, I'm open to try it.
But he's open though.
I'm open to try it, but yeah, if it ain't good, I'm sorry. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings, but
Yes, he's just like eating the other day. Like, I can't eat it.
I can't eat no more. But I will try, and I did try, and so that's one thing I always do. I always try. But you know, I don't want to be dishonest. Like, oh man, this is great. You know, and then wonder why ain't nobody eating it. Nobody eating it anymore.
Like, we all were sitting at the table like, oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. And then when I threw mine away, everybody else just felt free that they could just do whatever they needed to do.
Everybody waiting on cue right there.
I know.
Oh, man.
So that's also important, too. So, again, guys, just giving your spouse, significant, or if you're newlywed, or if you're engaged, or fiance, like, giving them space to grow, and also asking God to let you see them the way that he sees them, because I think that will give, you know, you grace. Because I feel like I nagged a lot in the beginning, and I feel like I'm way better now because our personalities are so different. I like new things fast, quick. God say do it, I'm trying to jump off the cliff and do it. Curtis is like, God said what?
Lean back.
And I'm not.
Slow your roll. Let's chill a little bit.
Chill.
Like slow. But yeah. And so it's kind of a give and take. You know, we try to meet each other, you know, in the middle.
Right.
Because everything can't just be one personality. But at the same time, we just can't totally neglect, you know, the other spouse as well. So, you know, every marriage, there has to be a give and take and a mutual agreement. But it comes through communicating and coming together to be able to move forward for the better of your marriage. Right.
Where we are now. Okay, guys. So where we are now, I feel like we're in a really good place. We're seeking God. We have so many things that we feel like God's put in our heart. Like, for one, talking to you guys right now, we're so grateful to be talking to you guys. We're finally like going head first on our YouTube channel, and it's crazy because we were going really hard on Facebook, and it's so crazy because at the beginning of the year we did a vision board, and our vision board had YouTube on it. Like, it didn't. To be successful on YouTube and to reach people and tell people about our story and about God, because we have so many other things we want to share with you guys that we feel like will be helpful.
Right. And I feel like this has been a year, even though with COVID going on, I believe like this has been a year that we really started really striving to see our vision come to pass. Like, we've been doing our vision every year. We always come together in November, December, and like, okay, this is our vision. But really this past year, you know, the end of 2019, we did our vision, but also we did a vision board. Like, we got a vision board, we got our vision boards put up. That way we're actively seeing like our vision for the year. And I believe like this is what's totally different from previous years. Like, we never, you know, we did the vision, but we really didn't act on it. Now that we have the vision up in front of us where we can see it, like, we can actively move on it, but it's also active in our mind because we're seeing it every single day. And I believe like that's what's really pushing us together. And just like she was saying, you know, we've been pushing Facebook and everything, but then when we come back to our vision board, it's like, okay, you know what? We have YouTube. Like, we need to be pushing YouTube and doing videos. And, you know, just our vision, like, we want to have a studio, like a TV show as well, like our vision of what we're moving. And so the thing is, we can't look down on small beginnings because most things start small, but it's not about, you know, where things start. You know, you got to build upon it. And eventually when you build, what's most important is just really the foundation. And so we believe like everything that we're doing now is just building that foundation, that platform for what God is getting ready to set us up on and move us up.
I agree. And I feel like in that, God's like working out things in both of us still, because we're having to have patience as we're working together. We're learning how to work together in different capacities. But also like figuring out like, oh, I didn't know I had this gift. Oh, I didn't know you had that. Like just knowing that we have that and working together and really coming together on why God put us together, because God put us together for a purpose. Like he didn't just want us together. Like he had a divine plan. He knew this would happen. He knew we would be sitting here talking to you guys, and he knew you guys would be sitting here watching, because you guys have a great purpose. You and your spouse, your fiance, your relationship, or your that desire to do something great in the world. Like you have that. So if you're not married, just know you cannot just marry just anybody. Like you have to marry who God wants you to marry, because only then can you guys, you know, complete the destiny that God has for you. Because I believe that my life would be different if like me and Curtis like weren't, you know, married or whatever. Like, you know, I didn't know that I would marry Curtis. He knew he would marry me, of course, but I didn't know that. And I'm so grateful because like it's just really been a journey, and he's had so much patience, and we're so different. So we like, I think we help each other out. Like he calms me down and I push him up.
Yeah. And so we have a lot of stories, you know. We told you the story of how we met, but there is a story that, you know, stay tuned, because we got another story of the how do you know that you love her?
Right.
You know, how do you know that you're in love?
Right.
And that's
a good one.
That's a really good one. So
yes, you better come back, guys. Subscribe to our channel.
Yes, please subscribe to this, comment. You know, we are here for y'all. For you. But we want to share with you guys just our journey.
Yes, and let us know, guys. Leave in the comments, like, if you have any questions or topics or videos you want us to talk about. Like, let us know, and we'll totally talk about it, because we're here for you. Our goal is just to help one person every day.
All right. So, until the next time, we'll see y'all later.
Right. See you later, guys.
See ya.